These coming few months will be crucial ones for Arsenal Football Club. Arsenal enter the transfer window with a considerably large to-do list this summer. The club are interested in goalkeepers, defenders across every position, central midfielders, and number 10s. In a transfer window that also contains 3 international tournaments, strategy and preparation will be critical. Edu and Mikel Arteta submitted their transfer plans to the board some weeks before the season ended, and work is already underway. But who exactly will Arsenal sign this window, and what signings will make this summer a successful window? Martin Autoguard, who spent the second half of the season on loan from Real Madrid, is believed to be the club's number 1 target. Arsenal pursued a creative midfielder throughout the entirety of last summer's window, but ultimately were not able to complete a deal. Although Autoguard's loan spell was interrupted by an ankle injury, he made a big impression in North London, not just on account of his technical equality, but also his character and leadership credentials. In a summer where several experienced players could be leaving the club, the addition of an international captain holds an obvious appeal. The situation, however, is not in Arsenal's hands, and the resignation of Zinedine Zidane and the appointment of Carlo Ancelotti at Real Madrid complicates matters even more. Autoguard has a contract with Madrid until 2023, and it is understood that Ancelotti views the midfielder as a critical part of his rebuild. Consequently, Arsenal have been forced to explore alternatives in that position. Arsenal have been tracking Emiliano Buendia for quite some time now. They've been scouting the Argentinian since he first arrived in England in 2018, and have maintained contact with his camp throughout the last year. Buendia offers the bonus of versatility, as he is comfortable operating in wide areas as well as in behind the striker. Furthermore, it was reported yesterday that Arsenal launched their first official bid for Buendia. The Gunners now face a bidding war with Aston Villa for the Norwich winger. Both clubs, Arsenal and Villa, were offering packages worth of £30 million and more. However, reports surfaced yesterday that Aston Villa have outbid Arsenal to agree to a club record £33 million fee to sign Buendia. If true, this would be a tough start to a summer window where Arsenal fans were promised to get excited. However, moving forward, it's a fair assumption Arsenal will finally land a playmaker this summer, whether it is Buendia or someone else. Although there is huge confidence in the potential of Emile Smith-Rowe, who will be rewarded with a new contract this summer, more depth and quality in that area of the pitch is required. Moving forward, it's difficult to be as definitive about the remainder of Arsenal's business this summer. As the decision not to sign a number 10 last summer shows, there is a reluctance to fill a spot for the sake of it, particularly in such a difficult economic environment. That said, a left-back figures prominently on the Gunners' to-do lists. Arsenal investigated the possibility of adding a backup for Kieran Tierney in January, only to decide to wait for the summer and a more flexible market. Crystal Palace's Tyrick Mitchell and Hibernian's Josh Doig are among the names that have been watched by Arsenal, although neither is thought to be Arsenal's intended first-choice target. Sead Kolasinac, who left for Schalke on loan in January, will return this summer after the German club revealed they could not afford his wages after being relegated from the Bundesliga. It is unlikely, however, that Kolasinac will remain in London past this summer. Moreover, there is likely to be movement at the right-back position too. Having been convinced to stay last summer only to lose his regular first-team place, Hector Bellerin appears set to leave. Ainsley Maitland-Niles is another player on his way out at Arsenal, while Cedric, who fell out of favour towards the end of last season, remains under long-term contract, which heavily complicates a potential departure for the Portuguese right-back. Since his return from injury last season, Callum Chambers has emerged as an important part of Mikel Arteta's plans. Despite missing the first half of the season, he finished the campaign with 16 first-team appearances, while it is believed that Tierney, Chambers, and Rob Holding are regarded as good characters and positive influences within the group. Although Chambers' contract expires in 2022, it is understood that the club have an option for an additional year, which is expected to be exercised. Nevertheless, if Arsenal can move on, Bellerin and Maitland-Niles, a signing in that area of the pitch is very likely. The goalkeeper situation is another complicated one. For the last year, Arsenal have been looking for a number 2, although there is some concern internally that they may also require a number 1, as Bernd Leno is considering leaving the club. That kind of upheaval would be unwelcome in a window already full of upheaval elsewhere in the squad. For now, the focus is on finding competition and cover for the German international. As was the case last summer, Arsenal are determined to find a second-choice goalkeeper who qualifies as a homegrown player. That is one of the main arguments against a permanent deal for Australia international Matt Ryan, who impressed during a loan spell from Brighton in the second half of this season. In the search for a backup keeper, Arsenal's plans in that department were actually somewhat contingent on the result of the Championship playoff final. The match that saw Brentford face Swansea City had two of Arsenal's main goalkeeper targets facing each other in David Raya and Freddie Woodman. With Brentford winning the game and securing promotion to the Premier League, it looks like Raya will remain at Brentford, while Freddie Woodman is the more likely signing of the two. In the number one department, if Leno insists on leaving the club, Arsenal have also been linked to Andre Onana in recent weeks. However, Onana's situation is extremely complicated. The goalkeeper was banned from football for 12 months in February after a banned substance had been found in his urine sample. The 25-year-old has insisted it was a human error, saying he mistook his wife's prescription medication for aspirin because of the almost identical packaging. Onana's appeal against the ban was heard last Wednesday, and it is understood that Arsenal remain interested in buying the goalkeeper no matter the outcome of the case. Onana's Ajax contract expires next summer, and reports in Holland have suggested there is no expectation that either him or the club will commit to a new deal. Therefore, it has been reported that Onana could cost as little as £7 million if the ban is reduced, and if the ban is upheld and he cannot play until February, as is currently the case, then the transfer fee could be even lower. If Leno departs, signing Onana would be a good bit of business for Arsenal. Prior to his doping ban, Onana was seen as one of the brightest goalkeeping talents in the European game. It was even reported last year that Ajax had set an asking price for at least £45 million for the keeper amid interest from Chelsea, PSG, and Barcelona. Moving on to the midfield, Dani Cebas has already returned to Real Madrid after his 2-year loan spell in London. Granit Xhaka is another potential departure, with suitors in Italy and Germany prepared to bid for the Swiss international. It has been heavily reported that Yves Bissouma and Sander Berge are among the names under consideration at Arsenal. Sheffield United's relegation has seen Berge's release clause decrease, however, it is still believed he would still cost a significant amount. Autoguard and Berge are best friends and met up several times during Autoguard's time in England, and it's not entirely beyond the realms of possibility that both Norwegians could be at Arsenal next season. Remarkably, the list of potential incoming business does not end there. Last but not least, Arsenal are mindful of the contract situation they face at centre forward. With the deals of both Eddie Nketiah and Alexander Lacazette set to expire next summer, there is a chance that both players could be moved on this transfer window. If there is movement in that area of the pitch, Arsenal will consider targeting a new number 9, although the presence of Gabriel Martinelli and Valérien Balogun, two highly rated prospects, complicates matters. All in all, it stands to be a very, very busy summer at Arsenal Football Club. Edu and Arteta have their plan, but turning that into reality will be extremely difficult. The likelihood is that Arsenal will not be able to land all their intended targets, even if the Kroenkes fund some of their transfers, which again is unlikely. What it will come down to is the degree to which Arteta and Edu are able to prioritize and manage their budget. A Buendia, Onana, and Bissouma window would be a pretty successful summer, and one in which will hopefully spark some hope amongst the Arsenal fan base.